Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Weeknights. I am your host for now, JD, aka He Who Pods. Glasses on today, so also rearview mirror. And my co-host will be with me in just a moment. That's why I said for now. I ain't going nowhere, just to be clear. Now, there is someone or something that is going somewhere. And so let's start right there. This is according to Deadline. It says exclusive. Blumhouse or Blumhouse, depending how you pronounce it. I always say Blumhouse, but I'm pretty sure it's Blum because it's Blumhouse. Anyway, it says we here are acquiring the prospective rights to Twisted Pictures portion of the Saw franchise. They are essentially taking over the IP's ownership from Twisted's Mark Berg and Oren Pools. And so it seems like they're going to own basically the full rights to the Saw pictures. Now, I think this is really interesting because Twisted Pictures has been a part of it for all 10 films, and now they won't be anymore if this is true. So I think that's really interesting that we're going to see Twisted Pictures take a step back and maybe not be involved at all. And so I know this is saying they hear, but Deadline usually is not wrong about these things. And so I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Uh, Blumhouse, they're really good at this type of stuff, and I'm curious to see what it would look like if they are solely putting out a Saw movie. Now, that's part of me is curious. The other part of me is like, yo, dog, there's been 10 films, and they haven't been good for a while. I didn't even bother with the last couple. What are we doing? I mean, how many are y'all gonna make? Clearly, I plan on making more if you're acquiring the rights or some kind of spin-off or something. But why? Why are we doing more Saw things? Why not leave it in the past? I don't really understand. I'm curious for y'all watching and listening. Do you care about this? Do you want to see new Saw content? I mean, should they restart the franchise? Maybe that's what they're gonna do. I don't know, but honestly, besides a restart, I don't know what more they can do. They've done 10 films and it's kind of declined over the years. I think it's best to leave this in the past, but maybe they have big fly plans that we don't know about. I guess we'll see what happens. And speaking of big fly plans, Ray J, who's been in the news, so to speak, uh, he hasn't been in like CNN kind of news, but he's been all over social media for some tomfoolery. Is actually doing something worth discussing. And so Ray J and Press Play Media recently released a trailer for the One Wish movie. That's right, the One Wish movie. I cannot play the trailer, but you should go look it up. Uh, Apparently, there's a film coming, and so I think it's a bold move for Ray J. He's clearly playing characters in the film, so yes, he's also acting. Um, I don't have a lot more information because I didn't do a deep dive. I'll be honest, I don't have any interest in this. Um, I think it's been eons, and this is a reach. I'm not against Ray J doing film or acting. I just feel like do something else. Like at this point, One Wish was so long ago. I know it's a really popular song. I know it was a hit record, but it was so long ago that one, it would probably be more interesting if there was a doc attached, in my opinion. And two, I don't really care about this film. The trailer seemed like something I wouldn't watch anyway. And so I'm not really knocking the fact that he's in film. Just this didn't do it for me. But there is a trailer out for those who want to watch it. Um, yeah, I don't have a lot more to say here. To me, this just ain't it. I think if he wants to get into TV and film, nothing wrong with that. He should holler at his sister, who has done lots of that stuff throughout her career and done a pretty good job for the most part. Um, yeah, I'm not looking for the One Wish movie. I won't be watching the One Wish movie. But let me know what y'all think about the trailer if you saw it, and let me know what your thoughts are about Ray J getting in TV and film. I will say, I hope if he is for real about this being a movie and trying to really push it, then he should do some real promo and not the antics we're used to seeing. I know today antics probably work very well for some people, but if you're trying to really be serious about a film, antics are not the way to go. In my opinion, you should give it a real shot at real promo, press runs, interviews, etc., as opposed to the antics. Um, I'll leave it there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk about one thing. That's a joke, but yeah,
No,
it's
I
time
got
for
it.
our.
That's why I laughed.
No, I know. I was just
The question is,
anyway,
will they get it?
right. That's why I said it. But anyway, it's time for our dash topic of the day, folks.
With
And
me,
so,
Dash.
yep, that's her.
hmm
Take it away.
Um, so it's Recovery Dash reporting live from the
What
seven
did
one eight.
you say? Rico Dash?
Huh?
Did you say it's Rico Dash?
No, I said Recovery Dash.
Oh,
I don't want no parts of none of that.
I was like, Dash, what are you doing? That's the type of energy you coming with today?
What in the Kanye West are you talking about?
And that's why you're my co-host, because I was about to say, what type of Kanye West time are you on?
No, I don't want no parts. No parts. Listen, keep me out of it.
Okay,
Okay? The only Rico I know is Puerto Rico. Okay? So
that's a clip.
that is the only Rico
Oh,
I
that's a clip.
observe. So I said yesterday, look at me making it back for a second day in a row. Shout out to me.
Three
Um,
days this week.
3 days this week. Listen, and I was struggling yesterday, but I made it. I
That
made
was
it.
my fault. I went on too long.
It's okay. It's okay. We're gonna keep it short today. So so anyway, we said yesterday that we would talk more, or we said earlier in the week at some point when we spoke about BET Awards, we said we would talk more about Amerie because there's been a lot of buzz about Amerie this week.
Yeah.
Um, so you very eloquently shared the list of Tiny Desk Black Music Month artists while I was on hiatus, and Amerie was one of those artists. So her Tiny Desk came out over the weekend, um, and I watched it, and a lot of
Listen.
other people watched it too.
Yep.
A lot of people watched it. I'm just gonna take this down. A lot of people watched it, and you watched it as well. I convinced you to watch it.
You did.
Wasn't really your
That's nice.
plan, but I felt like in order for us to have a real conversation, we needed to, we both needed to partake. So it was 18 minutes, which we were speculating when you made the announcement that she was going to be on it. We were speculating how long it would be because she doesn't have like a whole bunch of hits. She has hits. She has hits, right? I don't want to diminish her success, but she doesn't have as many hits as some other artists might have, right? I think that's fair to say.
Yes.
The stands will come in the comments and tell me that I just don't know anything. And yeah, that's true. I don't know anything outside of the songs that we know. Why Don't We Fall in Love? One Thing, Paradise. Those are the main ones. I feel like I'm missing one. I feel like there's a fourth one that like everybody knows. But there's a difference between the music that everybody knows and the music that the fans, people who are specifically fans of these artists, know
Right.
because their album cuts and they're probably great. It's just that it's not as known as some of the other music. So, oh, reminder that NPR is in NPR offices are in DC. So when you see Tiny Desk, it's happening in the NPR office in DC. Um, Marie wanted to pay tribute to go-go culture in DC. So the band arranged the music as such. We should keep
Yes,
that in mind as well.
yes, they did.
So she did one thing. She did several songs. I can't remember the whole list of songs. I know she did one thing because one thing is the one where she goes, "Oh, they're trying to let it go."
Yep.
And I just want to point out the way I just poorly sang that is right around the way Marie sang it.
All right, all right. We
You
didn't
know
get
what?
to.
You know what? I'm tired of you because when you want to get your stuff off,
You're right.
I let you rock.
You're right. Go ahead.
And I know you are not about to sit up here and say that you thought it was a great performance. I already know that. So I don't even know why. I don't even know why you're trying to call me out right now. Because when I stop talking and you start being honest, I already know where this is going to go. I'm the
Okay.
kind one when it comes to stuff like this.
I'm shutting up. Go ahead.
Listen, I like Marie. I have said that in the past. We talked about Marie recently and talked about the fact that we were excited there was new music coming. I think Marie is a talented artist. I also think that some artists struggle with live performances.
Mhm.
Um because she would then go on to perform at the BET Awards, which was over the weekend. I thought the performance was fine. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it, and I said that when we talked about the BET Awards. But then people started pulling out other performances that she's done like in the last couple of weeks. She doesn't sound great. So it's not just the way the music was arranged, because I wanted to consider that it was the way that the music was arranged. I don't know. I just think that maybe Marie needed some tea or something. I don't know. I don't know. It wasn't great. She was very off key. Um and songs should be in the key of life.
That was cute.
She was very off key. Her energy was great, and I love watching her perform because of the fact that I think she's a super engaging artist. She really wants to um, engage her audience, and I'm not just talking about why don't we, and then putting the mic up to the audience for them to sing that. That's not what she does. She actually gets involved. She even at one point ran out to everybody. That was like breaking the fourth wall for Tiny Desk, because we don't ever see the employees that are standing there listening. This time
Right.
we did, because she ran out and she danced with one of them, and it was cute. And I really appreciate that she has such great personality, and it shines through in her performances. I felt that way when I watched her at the BET Awards as well. But this wasn't good. In fact, people are cruel, and they've made it a TikTok sound. People are cruel.
What they made a TikTok sound.
Oh, they're trying to let it go. And then the poor arrangement behind her. Yeah, they took that straight from Tiny Desk and they made it a sound, but now people are using it for like things that went wrong. It's a TikTok trend.
That's messed
Like,
up.
oh, bad hair day. Like showing your bad hair day and being like, this is what it sounds like when you have a bad hair day. It's cruel. I said it was cruel. um
That's foul.
it is, but it's also par for the course. I'm not saying it's right, but I feel like whether it was Marie, whether it was Jay-Z, we could name a long list. Taylor Swift, they would have made it a sound in some way, like, because that's just what people do these days. Again, not saying that it's right. I actually think it's pretty cruel. I would never actually use the sound, but it's out
You
there.
sure?
No, I'm sure I wouldn't use it.
even if he was having a bad day.
No, no, no. It's one thing when you hear sounds like that from like people you've
One
never
thing.
seen, from people you've never seen or heard before, like strangers. When you hear sounds like that on TikTok and it's like of strangers and you don't know what the origin is, it's easier because you're pretty detached from whatever it is. So the sound is just a sound. But I'm not gonna. I don't have beef with Amerie. I don't think that she's trash, for lack of a better word. I don't think. I just think that I don't know. She's off her game right now. I know you sent me an article about what's been going on in her life lately, and maybe she's just not up for it, and it's coming at a bad time because she has an album coming out. So you would want her to be prepared right now so that she could create buzz. And I mean, she's creating buzz, but not the kind of buzz she was looking for. But some people say, all press is good press. So maybe people will listen simply out of trying to see what's going on, if that's going to continue. Now that you've kept your mouth shut for so long and not interjected or agreed or disagreed or anything like that, could you please tell me what's on your mind? Because I don't like when you get too quiet and you just let me talk for 10 minutes.
I said I'm shutting up. You were right, and so I shut up. Um, yeah, I think a couple of things. I think number one, the internet is saying Amerie cannot sing. They're wrong.
Yeah, that's not true.
So that's the first thing. And what's
Right.
what's upsetting to me is y'all are the same ones that are fans of all the niggas that can't sing.
That is true too.
Y'all let Lil Wayne sing, y'all let Drake sing. The list goes on.
Hmm.
There's a lot of niggas that can't sing that y'all love, and y'all love to sing their songs all the time. These niggas need auto tune to perform. These niggas need special microphones to perform. I
Hmm.
mean, tours have been canceled because people can't sing.
Right.
And that's not an exaggeration. That is a fact.
No.
There was a Kanye West tour that was canceled because he could not get the auto tune microphone to travel with him. It's bad. There's a lot of people who cannot sing. Amerie
That's
is
true.
not on the list. So that's the
No,
first thing
Amerie
I
can
would
sing.
like to address. Well, but that's what
Hmm.
the internet is saying. The internet is saying Amerie can't sing. She never should have did Tiny Desk, and she should not be compared to Beyonce.
We also
Those are
don't
the
know when she
things
did
that
Tiny Desk.
it was recent. And
Well, how
so
you know?
she spoke about it on the podcast. Um. So anyway, because on that podcast she said I'm getting ready to do my Tiny Desk. I'm nervous about it. XYZ.
Oh.
Um. Anywho, so that's number one. Number two is, was this the best Amerie performance vocally? No, I agree it was not her best performance vocally. Sorry, my cousins.
Oh, and they over here too. The kids are out. I think the people installed a pool, and the children are screaming just nonstop all day.
Good times. Um,
We're so old.
so no, it was not her best vocal performance.
No, absolutely not.
But
Not even close.
I don't think she set herself up for success.
I
I
agree
don't
with
think
that.
I don't think the go go tribute was smart. I don't think that was a great group of backup singers. I'm not dissing the women who backup sang, but I think if she was going to compose this way,
Uh
this show this way, she needed stronger backup singers. Not saying the women can't sing, not saying they did anything wrong. I'm just saying if they were going to carry the vocal piece of the show, then
huh.
I think you needed stronger background vocalists. The band
I
was
actually thought the
awesome.
opposite.
Oh no, they were not hitting a lot of those notes. I was watching.
Was it them? Oh, that and okay. What?
Go ahead.
No, I was just thinking. At one point, I felt like they sounded better than her.
Sure. But at one point versus the whole 18 minutes and 21 seconds, I don't
Well,
know.
because I stand by the fact that I don't think the entire performance went kaput. I do think there were songs that she was stronger in. I also wonder if, like, especially with one thing, because it's almost like a song where she kind of yells, and you got to be really skilled at doing that for it to sound good. Because whenever the rest of us try to do it, it sounds like hell, which is kind of what happened with her. And that's why I said, well, maybe she was off her game, because all of the sound, all of the songs did not sound terrible. Some were better than the others.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah, what was I gonna say?
I'm sorry.
Um, it's okay. Um, oh, Tiny Desk. How dare you give Amerie 18 minutes and 21 seconds? That's the thing that nobody's talking about, and I was right about. I said, watch them give Amerie way too long. Y'all should have gave Amerie 11 minutes. But what I will say is, Tiny Desk seems to be giving people longer time lately. So I did, after watching Amerie's show, I did go look at some of the other performances, and the last couple months, everyone's kind of had like 18 to 26 minutes. So I guess they're trying to give people a longer time to perform.
Sorry.
It's okay. Um,
Is it
um,
also, I was wondering, sorry.
go ahead.
I was going to say, is it also editing that changes the times? Because it's their footage and they have the liberty to do whatever they want with the footage. Could it be that sometimes they cut out parts of the performance?
Uh, a lot of things are possible. I don't know what the true answer is, though. Is that
I'm,
possible? Absolutely. Yes.
yeah, I'm yeah. I mean, I know you don't know the answer. I'm just speculating, because this has come up with us before, where we're like, how do they decide? But when I think about it. Me and you could try to record a 30-minute episode every day, but some days that might only amount to 26 minutes or 24, or maybe it's 32. You know what I mean? It just kind of depends on editing sometimes. My
Yeah, but I
guess
don't think
is,
you're editing half the show.
no, I'm not saying half of the show, but if you
That's what
edit
I'm
a whole
saying. So if
song,
somebody records 30 minutes, if somebody records 30, like the locks was 12 minutes. I don't think the locks did 30 minutes and they were like, okay, we're going to chop it down to 12 minutes.
right? I don't think that. I guess I don't really know what the criteria is, but I'm just wondering if that could be part of it. I don't know. I'm
Got
not
it.
saying they would cut out a chunk, but I'm just saying, let's say somebody started off with, let's say Amerie started off with 25 minutes and they took out two pieces of the performance for whatever reason. Maybe they saw that it didn't sound great and took out a piece to kind of help her out. That could adjust the time. I'm just, because it's something that you bring up sometimes. So I'm just like, I do wonder why.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, what I was going to say is, I think Amerie was focused on giving a good show,
Hmm.
not giving a good vocal performance. She was dancing a lot. She was engaging the audience a lot. And she seemed more focused on that than vocals. Even when she was singing, they have like the thin microphone here. A lot of times she was not singing into the microphone or near the microphone. She was over here, she was over there, she
Hmm.
was back there somewhere.
Hmm.
And so that's also going to affect how you sound if the mic can't really pick you up.
Right. Excuse me.
Not saying That's the only reason. I already said not her best vocal performance, but I'm saying this adds to what you're hearing, right? If even a rapper, if a
Hmm.
rapper has the mic all the way over here, they have to really project for that to be picked up.
Yeah.
Same thing, if the mic is too close, it's going to break up and it's not going to sound good. In fact, a lot of your favorite rappers don't know how to properly hold the mic. They hold it like this and they're covering the microphone itself.
Hmm.
And so that's going to affect how you hear the artist. But I think she was really into the performance. I think if you take the fact that they did the go go, you look at how much she was dancing, you look at her running into the audience and dancing with multiple people. Uh, I think that Amerie did give a good performance, but maybe just not the best vocal performance. And I think that's something that happens way more than people will admit, where
Hmm.
someone might be visually giving a great performance, but not vocally giving a good performance. I think there are plenty of hip hop shows you go to where the artist is jumping up and down and going nuts
Hmm.
and having a high energy show, but they ain't saying none of the words, and the song is just playing in the background. That's what I would compare this to. Because no, it was the song was not playing in the background, but Amerie didn't seem to really be focused on the vocal piece of the show. And so that's what I think. I also think that Amerie is kind of coming back out. And so the Beyonce comparisons of yesteryear are unfair today. I
No,
know a
yeah,
long time
absolutely.
ago, well, I know a long time ago there was this talk about Beyonce and Amerie, and it's coming back up. But it's unfair to compare someone who's been grinding the whole time and been able to perfect their craft versus
Hmm.
someone who's been on a hiatus and is just coming back out. It's not the same
Yeah.
thing.
No, it's not. And I mean, and at this point, there's very few people, which we've said before, that you could just very easily compare to Beyonce, right? You'd have to weight that comparison very differently than someone who, like you said, is returning to music or someone who is just starting out. There's no contest as far as, sure, you could pit them against each other, but it wouldn't be fair, like you said, because there's the years of experience, there's the constant touring, there's the frequent albums, there's
Right.
the more you do something, the better at it you are. You should be improving over time, right? If you consistently do something, you should be improving. um and Beyonce's so different because she continues to redefine what she shares as far as her artistry goes. It's constantly changing. I don't even know. Again, there's only so many people you could compare her to. So
Right.
it's a gross, there's too much inequity when it comes to
Yeah.
those two people. I don't think it's fair to compare Amerie to anybody right now.
Yeah.
Like you said, she's returning to music. She's being very open about the fact that she's been working on music and she's trying to come back out and all of that. And I think we should allow her time to do so. But what comes with that is, if you're going to perform like this, then in a social media era, you got to be prepared either to do your absolute best, because they will criticize you even if the smallest thing happens,
Yeah.
or you have to be prepared for, if you're not at your best, that there will be criticism.
Yeah, and that leads to my final thing, which is that she probably shouldn't have done Tiny Desk this soon.
Agree.
Yeah.
I would have liked for her Tiny Desk to come out maybe a year from now, after she's put out an album, after she's gotten to work the album in different cities. Go ahead and tour, even if it's in intimate venues and things like that, where there's a little less pressure. Yeah, people have their phones out, but it's not something that's being filmed to be shared. Um, maybe
Yeah.
there's a comfortability thing that needs to happen also, like just being able to perform in that type of setting. You know, we think about stadiums and arenas as, well, this is huge and it must be really scary. And I do believe that either way, performing is probably really scary for people to do. But when you're in a huge stadium, you probably can't see as many people as you can when you're in a more intimate setting
Right.
where you're kind of looking everybody in the room in the eye.
Yeah.
Um, and I could see how that could be just as, if not more, intimidating, because now you're also having to build connection with your audience, which she did a great job at. But I mean, performing on a stage is an act of multitasking. You're not just doing one thing, you're doing multiple things. You're trying to keep people engaged, you're trying to sound good. In a lot of cases, you're trying to dance, you're trying to look like you know what you're doing, and be effective. There's music coming in your earpiece, there's you on the mic, there's the band behind you, there's so many different things happening. I have never, I mean, besides, performing Mary Had a Little Lamb back in 7th grade. I haven't really done that sort of performance. Unless you're talking about karaoke, which I've done a million times.
No, karaoke does not count.
I'm kidding. But what I'm trying to say is I don't know what that's like. But I can imagine that it can be a lot and you are perpetually overstimulated while you're on stage. So,
Yeah. Even Beyonce still was very clear that I get nervous before performing.
and it's totally understandable. So, yeah. Um, I still want to see what Amerie has to bring to the table, and you know, I'm excited for her to continue on this journey. It sucks, and I agree with you. I don't think she should have done Tiny Desk right now. I think maybe a year from now, Tiny Desk probably would have been a better idea.
Yeah.
But
Too soon.
yeah,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Weeknights. Thank you for being here. Enjoy your weekend. We will see you on Monday.
bye.